Alright guys, this is one of our newer forts. It's not quite done yet. Kind of showcasing in this tips video, we're going to build a tower up here with a ramp, and it's got a bridge going across the creek on the backside here. One of the reasons we're going to use this is that a lot of players, when they're in a pretty good fort, you know, something that's got solid walls to it, what they'll tend to do is stay in the exact same spot every single time. And when you're defending, if you can, if you have the option, you want to try to move around and shoot from different positions, even if they're only 5 feet apart or so. What do I mean by that? Well, if I'm coming up at the same spot every time, shoot, come down, the guy's shooting at me, come up, shoot. Well, my head's coming up, he's seeing that come up. If he's posted up on my position, he can get that first shot and clip my head. So to negate that, what I want to do is come up, you know, I'm shooting, when I come back down, move over, even just a couple feet, just so that first shot of his is probably going to be off. So when I come up to shoot at him, hopefully I can get the first shot. And that makes that attacker, that opponent player, move his gun. And that movement of his gun will almost always throw off his first shot. If you can, in a bunker this size, I'm coming up here shooting, maybe the guy's over here, I'm coming up here and shooting, and then I'm ducking around down here. Coming over here. All of a sudden I'm popping up from a totally different spot. A lot of times what this will allow you to do is to keep 3, 4, 5 players off you until the time limit's up. So if you're working a game, you've got 2 minutes left, you're the last guy left, there's 5 people coming in on you. Well, every time you stick your head up, you've got 5 different sets of eyeballs shooting at you, lighting you up. And while you don't want them to bunker you, so you want to keep putting paint on them, if you keep coming up from the same spot, you're going to be out and they're going to have the objective. One thing that's probably pretty obvious to some of you guys that play a lot of paintball is tucking your body, and it's something all of us constantly work on. Anyone who wants to be good at paintball is going to work on tucking their elbows in, tucking their legs in. A lot of times people get so concerned with hiding their torso, they'll forget about things like their feet. More experienced players will tend to look for that in newbies, you know, look for them sticking their feet out, look for them to, you know, hanging their elbow back. You'll see a lot of times where someone's into a bunker and they've got their whole body covered, and you can see their legs sticking out. You know what I mean? So that doesn't do any good. Well, if you lay enough paint there, you can get that person's foot. What you want to work on is keeping your elbows tucked in. If you're in a prone position, keep yourself in as small a position as possible. Depending on what field you're playing at and what the rules are, vitals may not count for your elbows or for your elbows or for your legs. Well, in that case, well, it doesn't matter. You know, if that's the case, I'm going to keep my arm up in front of me almost to block it from hitting my head. Most fields play, any shot on any part of your body means you're out. So what you want to do is keep as little of your body visible as humanly possible. It's not always the easiest thing. Which kind of brings me to another point, which is going prone. You'll see a lot of people that I think because they've maybe watched too many movies, they want to go into like a prone sniper position. And there are situations where that makes sense. If you got a lot of thick weeds around you and someone starts shooting at you, you may want to go prone just so you can figure out what you're going to do. You may have a situation where there's just a little earth mound you can crawl beside and get up close to an opposing player and get them out. Majority of the times going prone means you have a limited amount of movement, and I'll demonstrate by that. I'm down here, I'm shooting at an opposing player. Well, what happens when someone comes up behind me? I've got to swing all the way around, find that person and shoot at them. I'm in an awkward position, probably not going to get them. Let's say if someone gets an angle on me, I need to get up and run. That's going to be kind of difficult too. I've got to do several different movements. I've got to get my hand or something to get my chest off the ground. I've got to bring my knee up. And no matter how fast you are, it's hard to get from that prone position up and running. It's much better if you can find a way to keep on your feet. A whole lot less movement here. I can take off almost immediately. You're already in a set, almost a sprinter position to go any direction you want to go. If you're in a prone position, a whole lot more movements there. You're in a stagnant position or area for a couple seconds there while you're getting moving and going. So, better not to go prone unless you have no other option. I guess that would be my advice. Alright guys, this next tip is designed for sweeping a building or a house. You can see we're not really in a house because this is still under construction. I just kind of put a disclaimer on this that some fields will not allow you to do close combat. You have a 25-foot rule, a 15-foot rule. If you get too close, you have to ask someone to surrender. You can barrel tap people. We're assuming the field you're playing at is just like ours, meaning that you don't have to ask people to surrender, and we're going to assume you're in a big-time scenario and you're going up against someone you know is a pro, not trying to shoot some 11-year-old in the back that has no idea what they're doing. Okay, we hope the people listening to this, you realize we're making those assumptions because that's important to this tip. We're not going for mercy kills here. We're trying to get someone out to win the game. So I'm going to be standing up here, and I'm coming through here, and I know there's one more player left in. There's 2 more players left in. I'm trying to clear out this building, but I don't know where that guy's at. First of all, I'm probably going to be in a more of a crouch position. I know there's probably a guy over here. I don't know whether he's in the right corner, the left corner. Maybe he already got out of the fort, but either way, I need to clear it. How do I do that as effectively as possible with the greatest chance of success? Well, what I don't want to do is stick my head up and just look with my head. Look over here. Look with your gun. Okay, point wherever you're looking. As soon as you see someone, you can tap them. Okay, you can shoot them. At this close, there's a good chance if someone doesn't know you're there yet, and they probably do, you can just shoot them once. More than likely, you're going to come up from a 4-foot piece of OSB board, and you're going to be shooting it out with that guy, and you're going to want to have your gun up. You're not going to want to just be looking around with your mask. Look with your gun. Couple other options. If you've got a solid wall going up all the way to the top, you're going to have to come around that corner, okay? What you want to do is you want to come around, and most of the time this guy's going to know where you're at. And if you've got a pretty good idea he's there, you're going to want to switch to your left hand, and you're going to want to practice with that. Some of you guys are used to just shooting right hand. You want to shoot to your left hand, so when that barrel's coming around, you're exposing as little of your body as possible. I'm shooting with my right hand. I'm bringing out my whole torso before I can shoot. I want to be shooting with my left hand, even if I'm not as good with it. And what I want to do is I want to spray that corner, even if no one's there. Even if I don't know if anyone's there, I want to spray that corner. You probably want to come down as low as possible, as opposed to standing up and bringing your whole body into view. Remember, one shot means you're out. So if I can bring my body down into a position like this right here and come through and just shoot really fast, there's nothing there, I'm moving through, I keep going. Assume when you come into that bunker, that fort, that person is sitting in some corner, listening to every movement you're making. They know you're coming, okay? They're probably not daydreaming. They can probably hear you come around that corner. So how do you have the greatest chance of success? Come around that corner shooting. Assume they're there, shoot where you think they are, and you're probably going to have a much better chance of getting them as opposed to just trying to go for the one shot, one kill. That's a situation where you want to spray and pray. Another option, if you've got a 4-foot piece of OSB board, or you've got a window like what you see right here, you can kind of mix it up a little bit as opposed to going around this corner and just shooting a bunch. Well, if you can come over the top here, come through a window, most fields are going to not allow you to blind fire. Here at Big Pearl Paintball, we do allow you to blind fire. Most times it's a waste of paint. It just gives away your position. You can blind fire. Gunshots don't count in our field. Different fields have different rules, so you want to make sure you identify what those rules are. What you want to do when you come through a window, once again, expose as little of your body. And this is something where you can be a little bit slower. You don't have to be crazy fast, lighting up every piece of dirt in the bunker. You can be a little bit slow and make sure whatever new territory is appearing to you, you're putting your barrel on that. So if I'm going through here, I can work slowly and wait to see if I see anybody.
Friendly fire also.
Another good case, my nephew Ashley Taylor did this. They were sweeping through a building, and he said, you go around the outside, I'm going to go through the middle. He's clearing the building, here's someone moving, coming through, shoots the guy. It's his own guy coming from the other direction. So we want to be careful about that, that friendly fire. So it is a good idea to try and identify your target as best you can. It's not always going to work perfect. A little bit of it is the fog of war. You see a guy sitting somewhere and you can't tell where his armband's at, where his penny jersey's at. You can't tell what team he's on, and you're assuming he's the bad guy. Sometimes you will shoot your own guy, but we want to try to minimize that as much as humanly possible. So one of the best ways to do that, if you see someone, they don't notice you, before you yell, hey, what team are you on? Try to see if you can see their armband, or if you can see if they're wearing, if you identify like we use with penny jerseys, see if you can see what color penny jersey they're wearing, or if they have a penny jersey on before you go tap their toe and realize it's your own guy.